Thanks, Hen. Don't you love having an exotic butler around?
I absolutely
He just takes
love
care
it.
of all
Can I
of your
take you home?
needs. He had to audition for this role, and I'm really happy that we found each other. So you can't just have him, but I do rent him out sometimes.
Okay, I'll have to figure out what the rates are a bit later.
So this is our Pandora's box, right? And so in Pandora's box is usually, sometimes you will bring an item, but it's usually items that just kind of give you something to think about. So one thing that I want to choose right away, but your eyes got big. So what do you want to talk about?
I am looking at this beautiful silhouette of this young lady here.
Oh, this woman.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is that what you wanted to talk about?
No, it wasn't what I wanted to talk about.
You tell me what you wanted to talk about.
In reference to this was just when I used to do fitness competitions. And when I did fitness competitions, I won this. It was my first one winning a trophy. And why I did this competition was because I had my baby and I wanted to lose the baby weight.
Oh, I love that.
I signed up for a fitness competition and I fully I had to do it because I was going to go across the stage. I was way 33% body fat. I was able to reduce to a very low 13% body fat in time for the show in 9 months. And
good for you.
Oh my God, it was a great. But why it's here is because I was never hornier.
Really?
When you are fit, the testosterone maybe from doing all the weightlifting, I was like, let's go. I was always ready to go. So that's my little statuesque part. Story. But what I was going to choose for you, because I'm always curious, there's got these little panties here that say got munchies. And so I know you said that when you smoke weed, sometimes you get your inhibitions are more loosey-goosey.
Absolutely.
But I was wondering what the role of eating somebody out to attain the squirting, because I think that there's a correlation, because that was how I first squirted.
Really?
It was a squirt with a finger combination. I mean, not a squirt with a finger combination, an oral sex with a finger combination that really got me there. I'd never experienced anything like that before, so that's why I was very aware that it was different.
I feel like it may have been more the clitoral contact, so the tongue to clit, more than the finger. I feel like the finger was beautiful window dressing, but what really the core of it, I think, was the clit contact. And a lot of the times I've squirted simply just by having that friction against my clit during missionary. So I think a lot of guys do the extras, the tongue in the hole, they lick the labia, all that stuff. Yeah. The meat and potatoes of oral is pay attention to that clit. And you suck, you lick, you flick, you do whatever you got to do, but you make sure that you keep doing it.
What is the tongue technique for the flick? I don't know if I know the flick.
Should I show you?
Yes. What is the flick? How do I do it?
Oh no.
What am I doing?
So you're I don't know if I can do it.
Okay. Well, if you put yourself in the seat of when you're going to do it, how does it just come naturally to you? You flick your tongue?
You flick your tongue. Think about how you would. I don't know. It's not. If any of you eat seafood, how would you approach? See, that's hard because people suck oysters.
You suck, right? But that's the texture.
You can suck it. You can suck a clit. You can what I like to do or suggest is that put your tongue to a point and make the tip of your tongue hard. So a lot of people just approach it with a flat tongue.
Yeah. Well, if you only have a flat tongue, I have a short tongue.
Everyone can everyone can make the tip of their tongue pointy and hard. So I find that if you have
practice that.
If you can rub it against something, and maybe it'll take a few licks before your tongue gets pointy and hard enough to be able to make a difference. A lot of people are kind of reckless with their mouth. I find providing some suction to the clit in that area and then going in afterwards with an open mouth.
Well, I'll leave that to him because I hopefully
it's very hard
my
to
partner
explain.
out there that wherever you're going to come from, and hopefully he's vegan because he needs to have a good diet apparently.
Or drink lots of water because a lot of these guys just drink Hennessy and Red
That's
Bull.
what makes it bitter, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not. if I'm going to have a hard time swallowing in the first place, it can't also taste bad.
Yeah.
As well as being outside of my comfort zone with texture.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering about that. So when somebody goes down on you, you have a higher chance of actually squirting?
If you are not comfortable releasing your inhibitions otherwise, that is probably a surefire way to get you to squirt because, all of the guards come down.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this. What comes to mind when you hold on to that? Do you remember these times?
Well, because I used to be in childcare work, but
what does that mean to your sex life?
What this means to my sex life, says water or fluid absorption.
Yes, it is.
From squirting. That's what it means to me.
And I feel like that's exactly what children have done to my sex life when I first had children, is like it absorbed everything away from me being able to have sex. So you're the MILF that is able to really promote freaky sexiness.
Yeah.
So this is not a barrier to your sex life.
Oh, children.
Yes.
They're absolutely not.
How do you do it?
I find that people, when we think about motherhood, we think about women who are not expressive of their sexuality.
Exactly.
We think of women who, if they do express their sexuality, it makes them less credible as mothers, credible as good mothers. And they think that all of a sudden, when you become a mother, you shed the person you were before. So, LA, who used to like back shots prior to children, no longer likes back shots because she's a mother. And I think that's just ridiculous.
Me too. So I'm glad it was just an example.
That was just an example. Okay, I'll use myself. So,
okay.
It's a lot of people think that one doesn't have anything to do with the other. And how would we be mothers if we didn't sit in that back shot? They're very much connected, sexuality and motherhood. And I think we need to honor both parts of who we are.
I mean, that's how we became mothers.
Absolutely true.
You knew how to back it up. So I'm just saying that's natural.
100%.
So I wonder what makes us remove our sensuality from our mothering. I mean, my children listen to me talking about things, and they're not exposed to all of that I'm talking about, but they know that sex is something that I talk about, and they see that I'm not afraid to talk about it. So it almost becomes normal for them.
Yeah.
They tell me, my oldest son was able to tell me when he first had sex because he knows it's not a taboo topic in the home.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas most of them are tiptoeing around. So it's this whole keeping yourself silent and not teaching. But how do you teach it? How do you involve your children in an experience of learning themselves? Because they're exploring on their own.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but when I was first discovering who I was, it was a very confusing time.
Yes.
And I learned about myself through someone else. When you first discovered yourself, was it you doing it to yourself?
No, I didn't own my sexual experience initially because I built my sexual identity off of what someone told me I should be doing.
Yeah.
What you described with your sons is sex positive parenting. And that's something that I subscribe to. And how do you make them understand that sex is something that is beautiful, a part of life?
Yeah.
It begins with conversations as simple as referring to your body parts.
Yes.
Anatomically correct.
Right.
So we're not saying, a TT or a PP, we're saying penis and vagina.
Right.
And it allows them to have ownership over their body parts. So we can say this name because this is what it is and it's mine. Right. It's my vagina. It's my penis. And if we can be honest with them about that and comfortable in that honesty about something as simple as what the genitalia is called, then, my kids come to me and they show me, things on YouTube that they know is not for them. Mommy, this boy kissed this person or whatever.
Yes.
This is not appropriate, but they're not like, Mommy. They're
I'm
not
traumatized.
terrified. They know that kissing is normal. It's how we express affection. They know who it's for.
Right.
So that if somebody approaches them in a way that is not appropriate, they're able to tell me and they're comfortable with that.
Yeah, they can articulate it. I know that the exploration of our bodies is a private thing, and so their ability to be able to explore without shaming them, because I was very much shamed if they saw me, like, when the kids just have their hands in their pants. But I used to keep my hand in my pants, but I would be shamed about it. Take your hand out of there. And that's one thing. Maybe I wasn't doing it in an appropriate place, but it was presented to me as if I should be ashamed of myself for touching myself.
We do that.
Yeah.
As society, we do that, but that's a very healthy stage of child development. There's an oral phase, there's an anal phase, there's different things that children do to get comfort.
Yeah.
It's nothing perverse about it. And
No.
I think we socialize children to think it's wrong by reacting in that way.
Exactly. And the other thing I did with my older son, close to when I knew he was going to start trying that area out, is I let him know very clearly that just because a girl can make you have an erection doesn't mean that you're in love with her. It doesn't, you don't know anything about her. Your body parts will respond to the arousal, to the touch, or that you're just attracted to her. It doesn't mean that you have to become married. And then he so rudely said to me, I don't need to wife her to get what I want. So we had to have a different conversation after that. But I'm just saying, you
It's
got
great
the
that
gist.
you can have the conversations. That's important.
That's the part. Exactly. Okay. What else do you see here that would, actually, I'm dying to know. This book here, right? It's called The Truth About Great Marriages.
Okay.
And the truth that I learned was that sex dies with great marriages. Do you agree? I'm telling you, I don't know what
my goodness.
Have you been married?
I have not, but I had this conversation.
That's why you squirt.
I had this conversation with my partner who lots of his friends are married, and their common consensus is once you get married, you stop having sex, or you stop having good sex. So maybe you can shed some light on the whole thing for me.
Well, you know, it comes down to, I know for me, I don't think I knew myself enough while I was married. And now that I'm not married, of course, that's when all of the aha moments come. And I'm like, okay, I learned about myself in retrospect. And that's pretty much how it is, right?
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020.
Exactly. So my whole thing was, I think we take each other for granted, and you have to put effort. Like having a great sex life takes effort, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Especially, and then as a MILF, you have to organize your time. You have to know when to give yourself what you need.
So hard, yeah.
Right. So I think that's what happens is that we start taking care of the child, and then any extra time we want to keep for ourselves. So then we're not creating that time for one another. And we're definitely not creating the time for, oh, let me try to get her to squirt after you've been together for 16 years. It's kind of like, bitch, use your vibrator yourself. I can't. That's kind of how it goes.
Oh my God.
down.
I hope that is never my philosophy in marriage.
Well, I hope that it changes too, because there's been a lot more men that they seem to be evolving. We're all evolving.
Yes.
And men are having really, really important conversations, and people are coming to that conversation with a sense of self-accountability. And so I have hope. But I don't necessarily, I have so much hope that the hope is now placed in myself, that whoever is supposed to come around me will come around me. If not, that vibrator it's really good. But I haven't gotten internal with my vibrator.
Okay.
And I've heard that you need a kind of like hook to have the kind of squirting action that you want because I've only ever squirted with a partner. I don't know how to squirt by myself.
And that was from oral or from penetration?
It was an oral finger combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
although the last time I did was with penetration. Actually,
girl, you can do it all.
But it was a different experience. Like because he wasn't inside of me, that's what I was saying, that there was more liquid.
Okay.
Like more was able to come out. But when he was inside of me, there was still a lot of liquid. There was still a lot of liquid. No, it was a lot of liquid each time.
Yeah. So both times that I described the trickle and the projection, both a lot of liquid each time. But I find when I'm trickling, it's just, it comes in waves. So like as I'm contracting, liquid comes out, and I contract again and liquid comes out.
Okay, so wait, you're controlling your squirt.
We're going to talk about Kegels in a bit.
Okay,
so
can we just understand something here? We need to get into some foreplay right quick, because before we do that, actually, there's this really interesting article that had said that there's a term called orgasmic childbirth, aka birthgasms. It's when a woman has an orgasm while she's in labor. What? Talk about making me want to go back and see how I can do it again. Lies.
Listen, you couldn't pay me enough to try and do that kind of research.
But yeah, there's actually a way to, I mean, it's 0.3%, but there's women that they did a study with that actually was able to achieve orgasm, squirt, while they were giving birth. Because they're contracting, and that's what's contracting, right?
So basically the same things are sort of in play. You're using your Kegel muscles in your vaginal canal to do that pushing as you're having the baby. So it's not far-fetched. It's possible to have that birthgasm.
Right.
Sometimes I've had an orgasmic feeling when I'm doing something as simple as peeing after a long day of holding it in.
Wow.
You know when you get that, when you're releasing? That's kind of similar to the feeling that you have
Is
when
that
you're...
how you need to relax?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Absolutely.
Listen, coming up in Foreplay, we are going to take you through an 8-step process to presenting the best chance for the perfect orgasm. Maxilise, can you please take away the Pandora's box and let's set up for some foreplay action?